Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics, where I watch all the other Lego investing and reselling videos so that you don't have to. And of course, while watching those videos, I'm collecting a bunch of mentions and enthusiasm score data. In this video, we're talking retiring sets here in a few months that are getting the most buzz for investing. And of course, at the end, I will give you my top 3 from everything we went over. I've got a 3-month data set for you, May, June, and July, and during those 3 months, I watched 157 Lego investing and reselling videos across 16 YouTube channels, 1,639 total Lego set mentions. And if you are new to my channel, first off, thanks a lot for being here. And second, the way this data table works is every time the presenter mentions a set for investing in all those videos that I watch, I record it as a mention on my data table, and based on how enthusiastic the presenter is about that set, I give it an E-score of 0, 1, 2, or 3. 3 means the presenter thinks it's a home run investment. 2, the presenter thinks it is an average investment. 1 means they have questions about it, but they're interested. And a 0 means that they are skipping it for investing purposes. I will go over all of the 0 enthusiasm score sets, i.e. the not top sets, in a future video. In the last 3 months, we have a tie for the top spot. The Viking Village Ideas set is a Target exclusive, and then Spider-Man's Mask, which is also a Target exclusive. They both got 18 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.4 out of 3.0. We'll start out with Viking Village. It's a great deal at $130 for 2103 pieces and 4 Vikings minifigures. Definitely unique because we haven't had Viking sets in a long time. The shelf life is 2.25 years, about standard for ideas, maybe even a little shorter than average. And the brick set rating is a solid 4.5. So on the surface, it's looking pretty good as an investment. Good rating, good value, not a terrible shelf life, and the Target exclusive, I think, is the most important part of this set. But although it has the most mentions on our table, I don't think the buzz is as high as I thought it could have been. Only 3476 want it. Those aren't terrible, but I would think that the best investment set out there would have higher numbers here. And then my other concern is that the site is a little boring, actually. A lot of brown. The bridge and tree are both pretty puny, uninspiring. I think they both could have been larger with more detail. And then once you take the wall and roofs off, there isn't a lot of interior space. It's really tiny. The detail is good, but it's really tiny. But with that said, it does look pretty good with the creator Viking ship from a year or two ago docked up next to it. For me though, it's not my favorite. I did pick up one recently when it was on sale, but I do not have it in my top 10 power rankings video. I don't even think I gave it that strong of an honorable mention. I feel like I'd have it around 20 or 25. Talking about picking one up, I grabbed mine recently from lego.com. Sale price was $97.49 for me, $6.34 of sales tax. My total cost was about $104, 5% insider points. I did get 15% Rakuten. I know there have been some questions out there recently about exclusives and hard to find, but there were a number of people, myself included, that reported that during that sale, Rakuten gave the higher percent off for the full purchase. I did get a little GWP. I'm going to assume $15 back on that. So that's an equivalent buy-in of $69.33 and an equivalent 47% off. So now let's say that I sell this set for $150. If it's locally on Facebook Marketplace, which is what I've been doing a lot of recently, then there would be no shipping and fees. I'm assuming if I did sell it on eBay, this would be after shipping and fees. Then my projected profit would be $80.67. I did throw in a 10% tax that I would pay on that, but that's going to be different for everybody. I just kind of arbitrarily picked the 10%. I don't get into any tax advice on this channel. Obviously, I don't get into any investing advice on this channel either. This is purely for entertainment purposes only, but I know that what people will pay in taxes can vary greatly, depending upon if somebody's doing this as a hobby or a business, how much volume they do, how the rest of their income and taxes all shapes up with their tax preparer. But to try to present as realistic of an outcome as possible for buying and selling these sets for kind of the average or cross section of everybody watching the video, I want to make sure I included something in there. I hate showing values and returns that are higher than what most people can achieve. I want to keep these numbers very, very realistic and maybe even a little underestimated so that we're pleasantly surprised when it is time for us to go sell these and you guys can say, hey, I beat KDX's projections. But if all these numbers are in the ballpark, then that is a 105% ROI, which I think is pretty good. And I think that's possible for this set. But do keep in mind, this 105% ROI means that we've already utilized the value of the insider points, the Rakuten cashback, and the GW GWP. So it would be improper math to say, hey, I got 105% ROI here, but then I sold the GWP for $15 on the side, and that's an extra $15 of return. So even though I'm not all in on this set, after running these numbers, I kind of wish I got 2 or 3. I don't think I would get more than that this year. And now let's look at Spider-Man's mask. This one I like a lot more. It is in my power rankings video. 2-year shelf life, $70, always overpriced on these masks and helmets. 4.2, very low. Members own it and want it. So I know all those metrics don't look great, but we've got some good comparables here. Star-Lord's helmet that a lot of people really did not like, myself included, retailed for $80. Brickset is showing a value of $81. Brickset values are generally 95% after paying shipping and fees, so I think they're okay to get a ballpark starting point. So those numbers don't look great, but this one was on sale a lot, if you recall, and it just retired at the end of 24. Give it another year, factor in the sale price, I think we're looking pretty good. And then we've got Venom that retired in 23. Similar story, 70 and 69, but was also a discount set. And then Carnage, which was also a Target exclusive, 60 to 88. Because I'm pretty high on this set, when I saw it go on sale at Target, I think about a month ago for $48.99, I picked up 6. My purchase price, because I have the red card, was $46.54. $3 of tax brings me to $49.57. No insider points, Rakuten or GWP, so my equivalent percent off is 29%, but I think it's very realistic to sell it for $90 after shipping and fees. $40 profit, $4 in tax, that is a 73% return on investment. Of course, I try to target 100% ROI as much as possible, but I also make sure that I have good diversification in my Lego portfolio. And at this point, I look at all of these Star Wars helmets and superhero helmets and mask sets as evergreen sets. Some of the sets that look like they could get 100% ROI have a little higher risk. I think the helmets and masks have much lower risk and are pretty solid at about a 75% return on investment. And then before we wrap up on Spider-Man, keep in mind the Miles Morales mask was just announced, and this one looks really good. These two, I think, will help each other out a lot. Third on the table is Fortnite Peelybone with 16 mentions and a 2.3 E-score. $100 set for 1,400 pieces, but no minifigures. 2.25 year shelf life again. Here on camelcamel.com, it looks like it hasn't really been out of stock at Amazon, and it did drop down to $92, not a huge discount. So as expected, third-party sales are at or below the recommended retail price. We just don't know yet what the demand data is going to look like, but if we go to Amazon and put in Fortnite Lego, we can see that overall there's pretty good demand. We know that Fortnite is still a hugely popular game. Battle Bus, not retiring at the end of this year, $2,000 a month. This new set, I think, pretty cheap, $3,000 a month. The new way overpriced Der Burger restaurant is only $700 a month, but the Der Burger itself, really cheap, $7,000. The Supply Llama on sale, $3,000 a month. And then we get down here to Peelybone at only $900 a month. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's terrible. So overall for me, I actually do have my eyes on this set. I want it on at least a 20% discount. I think it could be flying under the radar a little bit. Really unique build. I don't think there will be another one like this anytime soon, and those unique builds have a tendency to do well, because the only way to get something like this one is to go buy the set that's already retired. Fourth on the table is the Wednesday and Enid brickheads from the Wednesday Netflix series. I think season 2 is out or coming out really soon. 16 mentions is very good, but a low 1.6 enthusiasm score. I haven't seen the show. I hear it's very good though, but I will be passing on this set. It's already been on sale, I think 30% off at lego.com for a couple of months now. But even though the show is popular, I don't think the demand is there for the Wednesday sets. And for me, since I got gated on Amazon like most people did about a year ago, in 2025, I'm buying a lot less brickheads because they're smaller and harder to turn over. And instead, I'd rather be at $50 to $250 sets. So I'll be skipping most brickheads this year. Fifth on the table is this awesome Darth Vader helmet. 15 mentions, totally agree. 1.9 enthusiasm score, a touch too low for me. I know it's been out since 2021. So over a 4.5 year shelf life, $80, super expensive. But we've seen the comparables many times before. Like I was just saying, these Star Wars helmets are evergreens. And let's go to the one that had the longest shelf life, the original, the Boba Fett helmet, almost a 3-year shelf life, retailed for $60. People were picking it up for $40 at the end, and it's going for $81 after shipping and fees. Yes, this could have a little bit longer of a hold time, but it is the iconic character in Star Wars. When I see it go on sale, because they all have in the past, and I would expect this one in the mid 50s to low 60s, then I will pick some up. Oh yeah, and this one's in my most recent power rankings. mentions. I think it was number 7 if I remember. Next up is the Luke Skywalker X-Wing mech, 15 mentions, a low 1.5 enthusiasm score. I generally like the Star Wars mechs. I know the first wave hasn't done well yet on the secondary market. Give them time. I think they will be sought after, but could be a little longer of a hold time. We have 5 so far with the Darth Maul that just came out. I'd love to have, 8 or 9 in this collection. I think another one got announced and it was a trooper of some sort. But yeah, hopefully a few more good ones come, and I think that will drive collectability and therefore demand. Target exclusive invisible hand set 75377 from the new wave of Star Wars midi scale ships. They're calling them the Starship Collection. I love these for personal. I think you guys have all heard this before. I do not collect the helmets. They just don't do it for me. I think they're awesome. I just don't want them up on my shelves, but I do love these midi scale ships. So I will be building all of these. I don't think the demand on the secondary market for these will be nearly as good as the helmets have done. I think these will be a little closer to the dioramas, but I think they will be better than the dioramas. $50 is not bad price wise. Many of these are overpriced, but we've already seen it for $39.99. I'd love to get into the lower mid 30s and then I'll pick a bunch up. 14 mentions, E-score 2.2. I agree with about all of that. The demand for this whole line is decent. It's not so great. Acclimator is $1,000 a month. Yes, it's on sale. I think all of them are on sale right now. The Millennium Falcon, neither of these are retiring at the end of this year, but the Millennium Falcon is going to be the cornerstone set. $6,000 a month makes sense. Tantive 4, way overpriced, $900 a month. Home 1, not the best either, $500 a month. I think that's it. Yeah. So the demand is okay, not great. My guess is a little longer hold time than what we would like, but I think there's going to be some meat on the bone there. And again, this one I've already built. It's so cool. It's over there. I would bring it into screen. Too far to reach, but it breaks apart in the middle like it did in the movie. I do wish they did include some sort of minifigure. They got the little spots for them. They got the spot for the 25th anniversary print, and you can just pop that little grill piece off and put a minifigure on there. That's why they did that. So why they didn't include minifigures on these is a little disappointing. Coruscant Guard Gunship. This is an interesting one. Also 14 mentions, 2.1 enthusiasm score. I would say my E-score would be more like 2.4. I'm still pretty high on this set. $140. Spendy, but 5 minifigures. 3 of them are unique. A low 3.9 rating. That's for a few reasons. 1, the Commander Fox minifigure production is terrible. The chest plate is basically pink. 2, the price is a little high. And then some people, more the Star Wars purists or super purists, don't like all of the red. I actually like it. I like variety. Previous gunships have done well, but they've all looked pretty similar, at least the ones that are in this body style. So I like the fact that we got something that really stands out. Also unique about this set is it was on the retirement list last year, right until after the May the 4th week. And so is it over hoarded? How's that going to affect the secondary market? I think on discount, which we have been able to do, and I expect more discounts, I still think there's some pretty good value here and therefore good potential on the secondary market. Even though it got extended last year, it's still under a 2.5-year shelf life. Here are those minifigures. Yeah, Commander Fox, not great printing. That's got to be one of the better ones. But even with that, it's a $30 minifigure. Chancellor Palpatine is a $21 minifigure. Amidala is almost $15. And then the 2 shock troopers are over $5 each. If my math is right, that is $75 in minifigures, which is over 50% of the retail price. 50% for these Star Wars play scale sets with good minifigures is my target. So 55%, I like that number a lot. On Amazon, it's 1,000 in the last month. Other sellers, there are 28. Sounds relatively high, but it's not awful. I'm looking at the Ignite Discord supply and demand bot on my phone for this set, and it's got a lot of green and some yellow. This set's sales rank on Amazon fluctuates between 4,400 and 9,300. That's really good. And it hasn't been out of stock a lot, but when it has, it's gone up to $162. So pretty good demand there. And remember, I have a link to the Ignite Discord program in the description of this video. That's the program from the BrickBucks YouTube channel that Shane runs over there. Great program. DG and I talk about it on our podcast. If you use our link, you get the first month free and you get all kinds of great stuff, including an outstanding community that the second there is a deal out there, like a couple of weeks ago when all of the Walmart clearances were happening, people start posting on it, and then you can go right out to your Walmarts and find all the good stuff while it's still on the shelves. Now onto the newest Star Wars multi-pack brickheads, Revenge of the Sith, heroes and villains. 14 mentions, a low 1.6 enthusiasm score. I think that should be more like a 1.0. I was very high on the first one of these, the Battle of Endor heroes that retired in 2023. I was way wrong. Retailed for $40. $20. Brick set is showing 31. I did pick up my 15, I think. 19 it says here for 40% off. If I sold them today, I would barely make my money back. I can break them apart and sell them individually on eBay and do a little better, but I haven't pulled myself together to do that because it's a lot of work. Last year's multi-pack, the Phantom Menace, same story. We were able to get it for 40% off, 55 and 48. Not as bad, but luckily I only picked up five of these. And so if I keep the trend going, maybe I will get one of these. Even though these characters, like Grievous, of course, look fantastic. I mean, that Grievous is so good. I gotta go with the historical data, and I am passing on this set. And that one is a Lego exclusive, and I forgot to have that here on my table, so adding that now. And now on to another Star Wars Lego exclusive, the Imperial Dropship versus Rebel Scout Speeder. 13 mentions, E-score of 2. I think my E-score would be more like 2.2. Overall, I do like this set. $40, less than a year and a half shelf life. But this set's kind of funny to me, especially this picture, which is the most common picture we see of it. Every time I look at it, I'm like, all right, this is an anteater mech, and this is the anteater mech's food bowl. And he's just slowly moseying over to get some food, and maybe that food is in the form of a Rebel Fleet Trooper for all I know. But yeah, fun set, cool set, a lot of playability, but the ships are a little strange looking for me. But at the end of the day, it's all about the minifigures. QTKT is almost a $20 minifigure, and then the Stormtroopers and the Fleet Troopers are all $3 to $5 as expected, but it's nice to get them because you can do the army building, especially with the Stormtroopers. And that list of 7 minifigures is actually valued around $45. I did pick up a few of these, I think, during May the 4th. I think my equivalent was around 30 or 40% off, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, when you've got minifigures valued over recommended retail price, then that's a buy for me. I think I'll be getting more before the end of the year. The awesome looking Commander Cody brickhead. Originally, I didn't like it, but DG helped me see the ways, and now I really appreciate this design and build. 13 mentions, E-score 1.9, but as much as I love it, I'm not going to be getting many. Again, I don't want to deal with $10 sets right now, and the Ahsoka brickhead that I got, I don't know, 40 of, has barely grown in value, and it's already been almost 2 years. 40 and Tantive 4, the hallway scene, set 75387, 12 mentions, E-score 2. I pretty much agree with that. Maybe 2.1. It's a $55 set. Seems a little expensive, but it does come with 7 minifigures. 5s is exclusive. $14 minifigure, a good Darth Vader at almost $7. And then, like the Dropship set, some Stormtroopers that you can do army building. Captain Antilles, that's cool. And then another Rebel Trooper. Adding all these up, it isn't quite as good as the Dropship pack. And also this set is not an exclusive. So that's why I'm not quite as high on this one as the Dropship. But you guys know I do like my hallway scenes. I was just looking at my 8 Dark Trooper attack hallway scene sets that I got, I think 50% off at $17. And I'm getting close to 100% return on investment. And, you know, I'll be at about a 2-year hold time, but still pretty good. And this is the most iconic hallway scene ever. So it's a must-have set. I will get one for personal collection too. The Daily Bugle, awesome set. 12 mentions, E-score of 1.9, $350, but 25 minifigures. Long shelf life out since 2021. So we got to keep an eye on that. It is a discount set. I would want to stack promos, a good GWP, hopefully another sale on this one. But back to the 25 minifigures. Brickset says 18 of them are exclusive. Remember, if the elements are not exclusive, but the combination of how the elements go together to make that minifigure, Brickset calls that exclusive. To me, I'd want to focus just on minifigures that have exclusive elements, like an exclusive torso or exclusive legs with leg printing. But still, they are good minifigures here on Brick Economy. Oh, by the way, I never use any forecast model data, but I do like to look at the minifigure values. They tend to be pretty good. So here's the whole stack of minifigures. Some of them are showing pretty good value and many of them are $2 or $3. But down a little further, we can see the summary, which is that the 25 minifigures are valued at $185, just over 50% of the retail price. It also can work kind of as a modular building for city layouts. I don't think it connects perfectly to the modular buildings without a little bit of modification, but we don't get many skyscrapers, and all of the superhero detailing can be cleaned up to make it look like just a standard skyscraper. And I think a lot of people are going to desire that in their big city layouts. So I'm pretty high on this one. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show the Camel 3X before I moved on. It was in stock at Amazon a lot up until it looks like last Christmas. And so now we hit that. There you go. Once it's been out of stock, then it has been going for $400 to $450 on the secondary market. Currently $418. That's the kind of chart we like to see. Ghost and Phantom 2, the Amazon exclusive, 12 mentions, E-score of 1.8. Another set that was on the retirement list last year and then fell off after the May the 4th week. Under a 2.5-year shelf life, $160, $13.94 pieces. This is one of those 150 to 180 Star Wars ship sets that is actually pretty good value. 5 minifigures, 4 of them are exclusive. Hera Syndulla is almost $30. Chopper is over $15. Lieutenant Beta is over $15. Jason Syndulla is about $12. And then Hawkins is about $10. It's almost $8 in minifigures, right at 50% of the retail price. But the demand on Amazon isn't great. Maybe everybody that already wanted it for personal collection got it before last year, thinking it was going to retire last year. So that is a little concerning, but if we go over here to eBay, here we are. It is at or above retail price when you include shipping. Here's one for $160. The couple above were $150, $155 with free shipping, $156, $153. And we can't forget, it's an awesome ship, and Phantom 2 is connected right in there. I know most people really love this ship. I'm not completely head over heels for it because of how sturdy it is through here and too much greeveling on the side there for me. But that's just personal taste. Overall, I think it has a lot of potential, and I will have one and build it for a personal collection too. A couple of brickheads, Tom and Jerry, 11 mentions, 2.2. Again, I'll probably be avoiding it. Last year I was excited about the brickheads because we had Lord of the Rings, we had Sonic. Both of those got a good secondary market bump as we expected, but Disney sets not doing too well. Harry Potter one's not so great. Star Wars one's not so great. I just don't see a brickheads sub-theme this year that calls to me like Lord of the Rings, Sonic, or even Minecraft from a couple of years ago. So passing on most of these. Iron Spider-Man, decent. It has 11 mentions, 1.7 E-score, and then the Target exclusive Shadow the Hedgehog, Shadow on a Steak. I made fun of this set a lot when it first came out, but I think because of repetition of just looking at it over and over and over, I've come to accept it and even come to kind of like it. I would not want it for personal collection unless Lego did 3 or 4 characters like this. Then even I might want these for personal collection. I still don't want the Star Wars helmets, but I could see enjoying these. 10 mentions, 2.2 enthusiasm score, $70, very spendy, but I did pick up 2 recently for $49 from Target. And the reason I like these for investing, but again, only if we get at least a couple more, is because of the aforementioned Sonic brickheads. Knuckles and Shadow retailed for $20, already shown $23. Sonic 10 to almost $15, and Tails 10 to almost $15. I know some of the other sets that I were picking on have similar metrics, but these ones just retired at the end of last year. And like Ahsoka, for example, it's been a year prior. Icons, Blacktron Renegade, 10 mentions, E-score of 1.7. That is way too high. It is a very ugly set, $100. Nostalgia-wise, it doesn't do anything for me. I played more with Classic Space than not Blacktron as a kid, but I did have some Blacktrons, but this is just so chunky. It looks more like a construction site. It looks like it doesn't even fly, even in zero gravity or no atmosphere. It's just weird looking. I know that's not physically possible, but still, it just doesn't look right to me. And it came out at the beginning of 2025, and it's actually retiring in 1 year. If it does retire, it tells me this set is selling very poorly. Even though some members own it and some want it, I would have thought maybe lower there. If this was like a 0.8 enthusiasm score, then maybe it would be a buy, because maybe it would be so awful that there would be no supply on the secondary market. We look on eBay, this is $85 with shipping, $88 with shipping, 75, yeah, 85. So it's close to retail price, but I just don't see anybody wanting to pay $150 to $200 for this set, even if it is low supply on the secondary market. And keep in mind that Blacktron is a remake of a classic set, kind of, and so is this one. And I was very high on this El Dorado Fortress. You know, it was $215 for 2,500 pieces and 9 minifigures. Great deal. And it's only showing $213, but it did just retire in 2024, so maybe give it a little bit more time. Fortnite Durburger, already talked about it. 10 mentions, E-score of 1.4. I get the lower metrics here. $15 set on sale for 10 a lot. If anybody wants to invest in that, they can get tons of them. I don't see the point, really. Just too much work. Mos Espa Pod Race Diorama. We haven't had any new dioramas announced, come to think of it, so this might be the last one. I hope we get a few more. You guys know I love them for a personal collection. 10 mentions, a low 1.2 enthusiasm score. That's the lowest E-score so far. I get it. Kind of ugly. No minifigures. I still love them. $80 is crazy overpriced. I still believe that if we find it for $35 $40, it'll be a good investment. Anything not 50% or more off, I am passing on. It was 30 to 40% off recently. Easy pass for me. And we know these dioramas have not performed well. They were the two that retired last year. And then the first wave, I have a bunch of these that I think average 37-ish% off. And so I still can't sell them. I'll hold them for one more year. And no matter what they are, I will liquidate. But I'd love to see these numbers get back to the full retail price. Then I would at least make 25 or 30% ROI. Death Star Trench Run with no minifigures, not even close to the $70 retail price. The Dagobah Jedi Training, not bad at 78 when it retailed for 90. And then the Walmart exclusive Trash Compactor retailed for 90 and it's at 88. I might be getting close to being able to sell this one. The latest Hogwarts Express, and this one does have a Hogsmeade station, 9 mentions, E-score of 1.8. Yeah, I'm passing on this. I've heard some people say, hey, previous Hogwarts Expresses have all done well, and although they keep making more, they keep doing well. I don't know about that. The most recent one retailed for $80. Brick set is showing 74. Yes, a lot of people bought a bunch of these at $40. That is a good deal. Anytime I see a Harry Potter set at 40 to 50 or 60% off, I think it's a buy these days. But this one has gone up to $130. I know it has more, but it's gone up a fair amount. So unless I see it for around 65, then I'm passing. And now to two awesome sets. First one, the Icons Lion Knight's Castle. Lion Knight Castle, get that right. 8 mentions, E-score of 2.3. Flying under the radar a little bit. That's just because it's so expensive. This is my number one set on my most recent power rankings. $400, 4.7 on brick set, one of the highest brick set ratings you'll see. You guys know I love it. If you want all the details, go check out that most recent power rankings video. I haven't got any yet. I feel like I might have missed my best opportunity not too long ago. I forget what the stackable deals were, but I do plan on getting some. This one might fall off the shelves before we hit the end of the year, so I need to watch it closely over the next couple of months. I'm hoping Black Friday there will be at least double points and a good GWP, but if I do get some, I'm going to assume that it will not be on sale. So that would be $400 with sales tax, total cost $426. Let's say I get double insider points, some Rakuten, assume 5%. Sometimes they do 5% on the exclusive and hard to find. And let's say a $40 GWP, then equivalent is only 18% off. So then let's say we resell it for $600 after shipping and fees. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's a $280 profit. Got to pay the taxes on that. That's a 76% return on investment. I think that's doable. Maybe it's a 2 to 3 year hold time, maybe even up to 4 years if we want to go for, say, $700, and then it's 103% return on investment. But even if it's resold at $550, that's a 62% return on investment. So not bad. And the thing to keep in mind is a lower ROI for a more expensive set is okay for me because the amount of work to resell this set is the same, and doing one listing to get $200 profit is good. And then the Motorized Lighthouse, this is now my number 2 set on power rankings. It was my number 1 earlier in the year. 8 mentions, E-score of 2. That's great by me. Let's keep this one under the radar. It's a beautiful set. I know it's $300, super expensive, but the light and the gearing is really good. I know we pay a lot for it. 4.5 on brick set is also awesome. And I did pick up 2 of these when they were on sale recently. I think that's 25% off. Yeah, 25% off at lego.com. So my purchase price was $225. A little bit of sales tax means I'm about $240 all in. I got the 5% insiders points. So far, Rakuten is showing 15% on this one too. $30 GWP, which is the African Savannah diorama. Maybe $30 locally, maybe only 25. It's decent. No minifigures, but lots of nice foliage, and that elephant build is kind of cool right there. So if all that works out, my equivalent cost is $164, which is an equivalent 45% off. Resell it for $400. I think that's very realistic for this set. Projected profit of $235 after taxes, just over $200, and 129% return on investment. Super excited about this set still. Cozy House, 8 mentions, 1.8 enthusiasm score. Notice the R in parentheses has a July next to it. That means it is expected to retire in July. I know we're already into August, but I wanted to show this because occasionally there's some zombie stock, but this one's pretty much gone. It's ugly. I don't like it. The third version of a UCS X-Wing Starfighter, 8 mentions, 1.5 enthusiasm score. I agree. It's a pass for me because the original one did awesome, $150 to $782. But the second one that came out in, I gotta find it here, 2013 to 2015 retailed for $200, and it's only showing 243. Not awful. I don't know that people want a third UCS X-Wing. So definitely a pass for me unless I find it 50% off. Target got close last year a couple of times. I think at 35 or 40% off. 2 modular buildings expected to retire at the end of this year. Both of them are awesome. The Boutique Hotel, 7 mentions, a very solid 2.6 enthusiasm score. These are evergreen sets. We've looked at it before. All the ones from the past have grown in value. Brickheads, Dumbo, Lego exclusive like all brickheads. I might actually get one for personal collection. My kids do the brickheads. I haven't done it. I don't even ever think I've built a brickhead, so I don't collect any of them. But this one is so adorable. I did watch a lot of Dumbo in my childhood. 7 mentions, 2.4 enthusiasm score. Of all the ones that are retiring this year, this is probably the one I'd be most excited about, but I'm still not investing in it. Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator, a Walmart exclusive, also 7 mentions, 2.4 enthusiasm score. I didn't like this set when it first came out because it's just another boring gray ship, and it's $70 for 640 pieces. Very overpriced. I know the piece per price isn't bad, but still, the more I've heard buzz around it, the more we factor in that it's a Walmart exclusive. I think it's flying under the radar in some respects, but other people really like this ship. There's some potential. It does say 7 minifigures, when in fact 3 of them are this DRK-1 Dark Eye Probe droid. Yeah, that doesn't count as a minifigure, but we do have Guigon, $123. No, that is inaccurate. The first batch of these had incorrect, I think, facial hair printing. That was the wrong color. Pretty hard to get one of those. So now it's probably like a $10 or so minifigure. Saw Gerrera is awesome, $30. Darth Maul, always good to get one of those. And then a young Anakin. So minifigure value is decent on these, but also we just haven't had one of these in a while. So I think there actually is some popularity around this set. Bowser's Muscle Car, I love this set. 7 mentions, E-score 2.1. I think I'm only up to 3 or 4 of these now. I wasn't going to buy them unless they were clearance at Walmart for 50% off, but I did find at least a few. And I like these a lot because Mario is crazy popular. It's a small little set. It's Bowser. Some of the best performing Mario sets have been Bowser themed, and Mario just came out with this whole Mario Kart line. You got Yoshi's Bike, the standard cart, Donkey Kong's cart, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, Toad's Garage, all kinds of great stuff. Wario and King Boo, Bowser's Castle, another Bowser cart here, but this one doesn't hold a candle to this version. Kids will play with both. Collectors will want both. I'm high on this set. Potted Groot Brickhead, 7 mentions, E-score 2. It's ugly. I've always said that. Don't like this one. It's a pass. Tantive 4 MIDI scale. It's decent, but one of the ones that is most overpriced at $80. I did pick up, I think, 8 of these recently at $32 or $33. Even at that price, I'm not super excited about it. I think I'll get 100% ROI after a couple years, but not super excited about it. But the build itself, though, is fantastic. Ahsoka Tano's Duel on Paradia, 7 mentions, 1.7 E-score. It's a very plain diorama, so it's a minifigure pack. $55 for 382 pieces. Very expensive, but I kind of want one for personal because of the diorama aspect and the cool minifigures. And they are pretty good. Admiral Thrawn at $16, the Night Trooper at $7.5, Ahsoka at $7.5, Ezra at $6.5, and Morgan Elsbeth at only $5. I'm surprised. I would have thought that one would have been a little higher. That puts us at about $35 or $40 minifigure value, which is above the 50% mark that I go for. Only a 3.8 on Brickset, so I would want this one darn near 50% off. And that's validated by the Camel 3X chart. It's been on sale some recently, and then we show third-party sales. They are at or below what it's been selling for on Amazon. Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit, 6 mentions, 2.7 enthusiasm score. I did not like this set when it came out because of the $80 price point for 558 pieces, but it kind of goes with the UCS sail barge. I feel like this Desert Skiff is too small for it, and certainly Sarlacc Pit is very underwhelming. I wish there was a lot more tentacles. Even if it was the same scale, I think there could have been a lot more going on with the mouth here. So that's a disappointment, but the minifigures also go with the new sail barge, and they're really solid. Nub here at $22, Lando at $7.5, and Luke at $6.5, Boba Fett at $6, and then you got Chewie and Han Solo. It's about $45 in minifigure value, above 50% of the threshold, so pretty good. But I think this one is going to do better than I originally thought because it's flying on the radar. Only a 3.8 on Brickset. That's because of the high price. Low mentions, but high enthusiasm score. I've only got 1, maybe 2 so far. Watching for good discounts. I had a Walmart locally have 5 of them at $40, but they went quick. I could not get there in time. Jazz Club, yep, another great one. 6 mentions, 2.5 enthusiasm score. It's in my power rankings video. I will be getting some. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 6 mentions, 2.3 enthusiasm score. Not my favorite set, but more and more it's looking like maybe there's some potential here. It is a 4.4 on brick set, and on eBay, $200 when it retails for $220. Same, $190 there with shipping, $190. So it's pretty close to the retail price. Ninjago City Markets, beautiful set. 6 mentions and a 2.3. I think a lot of people have their eyes on this set. It's just expensive, so it's going to be talked about a fair amount less than, Star Wars sets and a lot of the cheaper sets. $370, maybe a little too much for one of these sets, even though 61, 63 pieces. So yeah, I guess I take that back. In 2025, this is still a fantastic deal. The previous large Ninjago City sets have all done well. I think the one that retired last year is still getting moving, but I expect that one to do well. Tri-Wizard Tournament, the arrival with this great Durmstrang boat. 6 mentions, E-score 2. I like it. I think it's flying under the radar. I have not seen it on sale yet, but I do expect a sale probably at Target because it's a Harry Potter set. $140 doesn't seem terrible with 5 unique minifigures, but on Camel 3X, it's been in stock the whole time and it's been below retail now. That makes sense because it's been in stock the whole time, so it's hard to say what the demand's going to be, but shifts with cloth sales that are sizable typically do well. Medieval Town Square, 6 mentions, a low 1.8 for what looks like a really great set. $230 for 3304 pieces. 8 exclusive minifigures, but they're just city medieval type, nothing too special, but the builds are awesome. And normally I don't like separate builds. I like one large build for the price that we're paying, but these two look great to me. So I really don't know what's going on with this set because very little buzz. Feel like it's something that I want to get for investing. I haven't got any yet. We look over here at Camel 3X, hasn't been on sale. It has gone above retail as high as the mid 300s even. So probably a discount set, but I'm going to keep an eye out right at the end, and maybe because it is flying so far under the radar, maybe Lego will have to discount this one or one of the retailers and we'll get a shot at 30% off. Then I would sneak a few of them into my portfolio. UCS Razor Crest, I'm going to skip it, $600. It's been on sale a lot, so I feel like, a lot of people already have it at a good price. If you don't get it on a really good discount, you're starting from behind compared to the others. And the big question for me is, how much is this ship going to be featured in the next movie, Mandalorian movie, something that's coming out that rumors are this is going to be in it? If it's only a little bit, then forget about it. If it's a lot, then maybe it will be okay, but I'm still passing. Infinity Gauntlet, I go back and forth on this set. The Nano Gauntlet did awesome, but that was an Amazon exclusive. It had a shorter shelf life. This one's been out since 2021. Everybody knows that this could be a good set to invest in. So I worry that a lot of people are going to gravitate to it, but at the same time, it has a bunch of painted gold pieces. So I'll keep an eye on it. And if it sees a 35 to 40% discount, I'll grab a couple. Our first Speed Champion set, the Aston Martin 2-pack with the very important safety or pace car. That's the selling point of this set. 6 mentions, 1.7 enthusiasm score. Yeah, Speed Champions just don't get talked about much anymore. Prices have gone up. This one's $45. Seems spendy for 2 8 stud wide Speed Champion vehicles with 1 minifigure for each, of course. I still like them. I think they're evergreen sets if we find them at that 40% discount, like we used to find the $20 and $25 Speed Champion sets. Yeah, last year we found some of those at that price. But so far the discounts have not been great on Speed Champions. I've seen postings of people finding, the Audi for $16 and the F1 that just retired that we'll talk about in a second for $12. But that's just here or there localized Walmarts. I haven't seen a broad discount on any of these in a long time. Red Panda May, it's adorable, but I'll be passing. And then here's that 2023 McLaren Formula One that retired in July. 6 mentions, 1.5. I do like it, but I never found it at a good discount, so I had to pass on it. Disney Hocus Pocus, the Sanderson Sisters Cottage. It's an awesome set. I haven't seen the movie. I need to with the kids. I hear it's fantastic. I still think this one is a sleeper. $230 is spendy. I've seen posts or conversation where people ask like, well, who would buy this one for $400? What would they want it for? I don't know the answer to that, but it's a cool build, and an old, rustic, worn down, weathered house I think is great, and it will go with a lot of medieval and possibly even could be customized to like a pirate or castle type layout. I like it. I think it's flying on the radar. 6 mentions, 1.3. That's pretty low. And then with the same metrics is the Ideas Orient Express train. Another one I go back and forth on. It's not motorized. motorized, and it's not anything like the fan design submission, and the engine is oversimplified. I think that makes it a problem, but at the same time, it is a train with two good carriages and great interior detail. My hunch is that because the metrics are lower and the buzz is lower, that it actually will be an okay investment, because I don't think it will be that supply on the secondary market. And of course, it being a train and most past trains have done well is the main selling point. Creator 3-in-1 pirate ship, too chunky, too bumpy in a sense for me. I don't like it. Monkey D Luffy brickhead. It's from One Piece, so maybe we don't have any comparables to go off of. 5 mentions, E-score 2.2. I'll be passing on it. The Walt Disney tribute camera, $100 set, also 5 mentions and a 2.2 E-score. I still like it, but it's funny. Even when I saw it for $62 or $63, I didn't pick any up, because I feel like this is one that's become so unpopular that I'll have ample opportunity to get it on good discount, maybe even over 50% off. So I like it, but I'm gonna wait this one out. And if I end up not getting it, well, oh well. But I'm gonna wait and see if I can grab some for $40 or $50. Ninjago Source Dragon Motion. This is a huge dragon. It is a great build. Many dragons have done well in the past. Maybe since this one is Kai's, I forget, but it's the red color. Maybe this one won't do as well, but $150 seems like a great deal for it. So I like it generally. The idea is Red London telephone box. It's a pass for me, but I might be missing out on a good opportunity. I just feel like here in the United States, the demand wouldn't be that high, but I do appreciate how great of a build it is and all the nice detail. Brickheads Iron Man MK5, very boring. The only 2024 F1 Speed Champions that is retiring at the end of this year, I think the licensing or the sponsorship got changed up. I forget, but for whatever reason, this one has to retire. I think it will be a good investment, because even with those changes, and maybe we'll get a different car for this team in the future, I think people are still going to want every one of the F1 Speed Champions for their collection, and it's definitely flying under the radar. 5 mentions, a low 1.8 enthusiasm score. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader brickhead. It's been out forever, and it's a boring set. 5 and a 1.6. And then the Ideas Insect Collection, 5 and a 1.4. All right, with these low metrics, I am liking this set more and more. I was pretty positive on it at the beginning of the year. I am getting much higher on it. 4.6 on brick set, $80 for 1111 pieces. These go well with the botanicals, which are hugely popular. Not a terrible 2.25 year shelf life, but even here on Camel 3X, it's selling at or below the Amazon price. That does make me worry a little bit. I think it's a huge sleeper. I like it. The Creative Play Droid Builder, 5 mentions, 1.2 enthusiasm score. Definitely a pass. The only thing of secondary market value is the Young Princess Leia minifigure. I am not investing in a $100 set for one minifigure. Obviously, for primary market value, especially for kids, there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but not a great set for investing. Speed Champions, NASCAR, Next Gen Chevy. Love it. Love the stickers. I wish they had given us like a few different sticker sheets so we could make a couple of different designs, maybe even swap out a couple of the pieces. But this one is a low 5 mentions, E-score of 1.2. It's the new $27. If I find it for $16, I would pick them up. $15.99. Last year's $25 Speed Champions, my top price was $14.99. Some of them I found for $10 and $12. So yeah, $15.99, I would get these. And same story with all of the single pack Speed Champion sets this year. Land Rover Classic Defender, 4 mentions, E-score 2, only $15. I know with this one and the Speed Champion sets, I've been saying I don't want to get a bunch of lower price sets, but Speed Champions have sold very well for me on local marketplace. So that's my exception. And although this one is even less cost, it's a like Speed Champions, and I think it will sell well. So I do like this one. Ambush on Mandalore Battle Pack. I'm not high on battle packs these days, as you know, and these minifigures are not great for army building. I did get one at, I think it was $12, but that was for personal collection. So mostly a pass. Construction Excavator, only 4 mentions with a low 1.8 enthusiasm score. I think that's nuts. I think all 3 or 4 of the city construction sets that are retiring at the end of this year are going to do well. This is a beautiful set. I like the mobile crane better, but just look at the comparables. So we've got the wheel loader that's retiring at the end of this year. I think that's 4+ sets. That one's okay. We got the nice new big bulldozer. I like the little steamroller. Here's the mobile crane that I love. But now let's go down to some of the older ones that are a little bit larger, like the sweeper and excavator, $30 to $60, retired in looks like around 2017. And then we've got the The service truck that retired in 2016, $25 to $55. The bulldozer from 2016, $40 to $75. Oh, this great excavator and truck, $50 to only $68. I'm surprised. Demolition site, $90 to $140. And then getting really old, the dump truck from 2009, $20 to $66. But yeah, we haven't had a lot of city construction sets and vehicles recently, and I don't think we'll get more right away once they're done with this, 2, 3, 4 year cycle. And so in a couple of years, these will be sought after, in my opinion. TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup. What a weird set, but what a fun set. 4 mentions, E-score of 1.8. I think it's a little bit of a sleeper. $110 isn't a terrible price, but because of what it is, it's already been on sale some. I bet we get close to 40 or 50% off at some point. And because it's an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter, there's some opportunity here. And the minifigures are also pretty good. Captain America, Red Hulk, Brickheads 2-pack. These actually look pretty cool, but I'll still be passing on it. The Droideka, these last two, 4 mentions with a 1.5. Maybe I'm going to be missing out and regretting it, but I don't want to live by FOMO completely, and therefore I'm passing this. I don't like the droid sets. I personally don't like them. That does influence my decision making a little bit sometimes. Now, if there weren't many good sets to pick from this year, then I would take a harder look at this one, but I feel like I have so many other sets that I'm more interested in and more passionate about that I would rather pick those up. I know through this year, previous retired droid sets seem to be doing a little better than we originally thought, but still, this one just isn't for me. The Onyx Cinder, 4 mentions and a low 1.3. I don't think this is one of those times where it's so unpopular or there's so little buzz that it would turn into a good investment. It's just a crazy, weird looking ship. I personally like it. Cool minifigures. It's a discount set. I would dabble, high risk, high reward, maybe get a couple on a good discount, but otherwise I'll just make sure I get one for personal collection. The large $450 Diagon Alley, 4 mentions, 1.3, been out since 20. Yeah, so over a 5-year shelf life. I'm passing. It's a great set, but I don't want to deal with this one that's so expensive and been out for so long. Superman mech versus Lex Luthor at $15. Kind of cool. 2 minifigures in a $15 mech. I bet we see this one 50% off. And as you guys heard me say, if I find those mechs on the shelves for 50% off, I get them. They're easy to sell on Marketplace sometime later. And then another Speed Champions, same story. If I can find it for $15.99, I want them. This is a beautiful car. Not many stickers. I love Ford. I love the Mustangs. Awesome set. Awesome color. All right, so we are going to cut it right there for this video. I will pick up on this table in my next video, starting with the Mighty Bowser, which is a rockin' great set, and then Batman, the animated series, Gotham City, that wall art. This one is currently in my power rankings, and I think Mighty Bowser is, or it might have dropped to like the first honorable mention. I'll look that up for next time. But before we wrap up in this video, I will give you my top 3 from the sets that we went through. In third place, Spider-Man's mask, Target exclusive. Miles Morales just came out. I think it's a great one. And then these two are not going to be a shocker to you. In second place is the Motorized Lighthouse, and that's with the S Lighthouse, not Lighthouse, but it's a great set. And then in first place, obviously, Lion Knight's Castle. So much going on here. I hope to get a few. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Like I said, in my next video, I'll go over the rest of this table. That's a wrap, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.